But first, Manasseh, it took you guys how long to do this documentary investigation?
Because we started the work somewhere late last year, November, December, with the groundworks, and by January we started contacting the NPA, and there were delays here and there, but we were able to finish, and by May, June, we had leave that GRA had other aspects of the sector that has to do or have to do with revenue. So we went to GRA. So it's about a year's documentary.
So why did it take you so long for such a serious story?
Well, we needed to get permission to visit all the places. And a typical example was when we contacted MPA and they agreed that they would give us access to the command center. We also needed permission of a sort from the third-party operators at those command centers. And at a point, some had traveled out of the country. So we had to wait. And in investigation, sometimes you need to understand one point before you move to the other. So when we went to GRA 2, it took some time to get all the permissions, and we write letters. A typical example is we write into the GRA in July this year to ask for documentation contracts. And till now, they haven't given us. In November again, we wrote to the GRA invoking the right to information law and also the Ministry of Finance that we are aware contracts of youth data exist. So give them to us. As we speak, they have still not given us the contract. So we have to sometimes rely on people who are able to leak one document or two and then do the story. And I think so far, the only aspect of the story, or the documents we got from them, mind you, we didn't get these contract documents from anywhere else. Everything is from them. We have evidence to prove. We know that the only thing they are contesting is the number of years, which perhaps at a point they changed. But when we got these documents, it was 10 years. So some of those delays and getting permission becomes difficult. I think the only institution that responded very promptly was the Petroleum Commission, when we wrote to them to find out whether, as regulators of the industry, they knew about this. I think Petroleum Commission took the RTR request very seriously, and they responded very promptly.
So you requested to be given or shown the contract, which is at the center of your investigations. And you wrote in July, you wrote in November, and you didn't get it. You didn't get it.
That is correct.
So the conclusion, therefore, is that you don't have the contract.
That is the official conclusion, but as investigators, you also rely on sources from within who know about the contract and who sometimes can leak a document or two to you. And it is common practice with investigation all over the world. The famous Watergate scandal, you hear something like deep throat sources. The reason organizations won't give the contract is that they know that some of the things in there are not good enough. And if they don't give it to you, you don't have a story to sell. If you don't have a story to sell, that becomes the end of it. So they didn't, but we asked, and some sources leaked some information.
So just hold on for a minute for me, a second for me. For our radio audience, presently what we are projecting is contract for consolidation of revenue assurances between the government of Ghana, acting through the Ministry of Finance and the Ghana Revenue Authority, and Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. The next slide you see is the execution page, the signature page. And you see there's a signature for the Minister of Finance. And there is a witness with a name and a known person also witnessing that. Then you have the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority also witnessing it. And in fact, when you look on it, you see a stamp. It's Ghana Revenue Authority, Commissioner General's Office. And you see the date of the stamp on it is the 25th of October, 2023. So you have the Commissioner General sign, you have a witness. The witness is an Assistant Commissioner for Legal Services. And then you have another signature by Evans Adusei, Chief Executive Officer of the company, Strategic Mobilization Limited, and that is also duly witnessed. And you see the stamp of the company also on this document. I will show you this last slide, and I'll continue with my interaction with my guests. There's a third slide. We showed you the title of the contract. The next one is the signature page for the contract. And the very final one, we are just showing you, yes, this very final one, you see the terms of the contract. So you see, it says, this contract shall commence on the effective date and shall continue in effect for a period of 10 years from the effective date, unless terminated as provided for in this contract, extended by mutual agreement between the parties. Then there is a renewal clause as well, when they may renew the contracts. So, Manasseh, what do you say to the major plank of one of the major, issues raised by the GRA in their statement to the public, which they say with emphasis that the contract is for 5 and not for 10 years? What do you say to that?
Well, something we have still not got the contract. Nobody has published the contract anywhere. But we have also seen a page. So far, everything we have published about this contract, we are not denying anything, except the page 13, which is on the duration. We have seen a page circulating in some quarters, and I think sources close to the GRA and also the company, saying that page says it is now 5 years, subject to another 5-year renewal. And what we suspect is that at a point, that page was amended. And let me put on record that
Manasseh, the page you have seen, have you seen it with the execution page, signing where the people involved have signed? Have you seen it with any signatures?
I have seen that page separately. They are just separate pages.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is that when you look at the entire transaction, it appears a bit fishy, because Ken Ofori-Atta, the Minister of Finance, the letter from the Ministry of Finance said the minister has determined that SML's contract should be expanded to cover so and so. We have attached a contract. The legal department of the finance ministry has reviewed it. So GRA should make inputs and what? Sign.
And this letter is dated the 22nd of June, 2023, this year.
2023, yes. Now they have brought out a page from the Public Procurement Authority that appears to be giving approval for them to go ahead and award this contract to SML. And this is dated 27th of September, 2023. And everybody who is familiar with the procurement law knows that if you intend to award a contract based on single source procurement, you first apply to the PPA with what you intend to do, the name of the company. The PPA will give you authorization based on your due diligence on the company and what you want to procure before you go ahead to engage the company. But here is a situation where we have the finance ministry say, look, we have made a determination, we have settled on the company, and we have gone ahead to even do the contract. Make your inputs and sign. And then over 3 months later, we are now getting a PPA approval. And that PPA approval even says there's a previous approval that should be underwritten or overwritten. So a whole lot of things may have happened behind the scenes.
Right. Manasseh, hold on for me. The minister's letter is titled Expansion of the Scope of Work by Messrs Strategic Mobilization Limited.
Yes.
This is the letter that says, this is the contract. It has been revised and it is attached. Let's go ahead and deal with it. Now, this is 22nd of June 2023. You are referring to a PPA process dated September of 2023, correct?
Yes, 27th September 2023.
Good. The contract document that you have relied on, which we have shown portions, has a GRA stamp dated the 25th of October 2023. You've seen that, right?
Yes.
And you still think that this contract would have been amended at a certain point? Between when? October to now?
I don't know exactly when the amendment may have taken place. But what I'm saying is that the pages we rely on, the information, whatever document we receive from sources within or close to the GRA and the Finance Ministry, have all these pages that we didn't publish only one page. We published a number of pages, but there's only one page that has been disputed. And I cannot tell, but I'm just trying to point out to you that in this process, if we want to even follow the chronology, something appears not to be right. Because the PPA approval, as we speak, says that, or makes reference to the letter seeking the approval, which is dated 20th September 2023. So meaning, this contract was drafted, every arrangement was concluded. If you have to go by these dates, then in September, they are now going to seek approval.
Right.
So if they had given us access to this contract, which they alone have, perhaps all of this would not have come up.
The next and significant rebuttal from the GRA, which I want you to respond to, has to do with what the company is entitled. And they say you claim they have been paid, but they have not been paid. What's your response to that?
If you read our story, which is online with these contracts, we said that there was an existing contract which we dealt with substantially. Then we moved from there and said that this year, the finance minister initiated another contract. And this contract says the company should go into the upstream sector and be paid $0.75 per barrel of oil lifted. Then, in the gold sector, the details we have from our sources says they should be paid 0.75% of total production, and they are going to do monitoring. And when we did the calculation, we have open source information, some of which we picked from the finance minister's budget statement, that says that we have 160,000 to 170,000 barrels per day as our production, oil production. And if you multiply $0.75 by 160,000 barrels, in a day you are getting like 120,000 US dollars that goes to this company. Then you go to the gold sector, and we also indicated where we got our figures from, and that is the gold production figures from 2022, and we produced 3.7 million ounces, and the finance ministry statement, Parliament mentions 1,800 US dollars per ounce. We did the calculation there, you are getting about 50 million US dollars a year, plus about 38 to 39 million US dollars a year from the upstream sector. And the downstream sector, we got information that we requested that they give us the payments they've made to SML. As we speak, since July, our letter has not even been acknowledged. As we speak, we haven't got that information, but our sources again give us information about payment details, and we realized that some of the money, this company was paid up to 24 million Ghana cedis. And that in a year also comes to about 20 million US dollars. So if you put everything together, we said this company, per this current arrangement, is entitled to over 100 million US dollars. We have people like John Jinapo who are saying our estimates are even conservative because it's far more than that. But something I just want to emphasize that the number of years, whether 10 years or 5 years renewable, is not a substance here. And I'm saying this because when they signed the initial contract, it was in 2019. But the current arrangement, that contract will automatically last for 9 years. And with our experience, contracts of this nature, if you look at the revenue assurance contracts, when they come on board, they don't cease. Even when they cease, another takes over. If you look at similar contracts, there's a contract like that was signed at the first time. As we speak, it is still running. 2006 to 2023, it is still running. The substance here is the amount that will be paid. And if they say that the figures we have, or the duration we have, which we know comes from them, is not the final one that they sign, I am prepared to concede that we go by the 5 years. But that doesn't make it any less people that this is a company that is not, from the evidence we have, this company is not supposed to even be paid for a day, because in the gold sector, the experts tell us that there is no reason someone to come there.
All right.
In the oil sector, we are told there are already flow meters.
Thank you.
Government.
Thank you, Manasseh. And Manasseh, the whole thing boils down to what they were supposed to do. The anomalies that they were supposed to curb under declaration, diversion, and dilution of petroleum products. How do you come to the conclusion categorically that they don't do any of this?
Something, we went through the system, the value chain, And if you watch the documentary, we didn't make any of those claims. They claim that GRA is not using the SML measurement figures. This is not a claim we made. It is a claim GRA officials made in the premises of SML. They claim that the existing loading gantry meters take more accurate reading than the SML meters. It's not a claim we made. It's a claim that SML officials made on camera. They claim about these services were on the website of SML. And they said these are the factors that were causing the leakages or the revenue losses. And because we are checking these anomalies, we have been able to solve the problem. But when we went through the value chain, we realized that the ERDMS was doing a lot to check the shortages. And this has been confirmed by the GRA head of Procurement, who spoke in the document that once you get the volumes right through the ERDMS, which is connected to the icon, you get your taxes right. Then also we realized that there was a company checking the diversion, Rock Africa. They are doing the electronic tracking. And together with the tank gauging systems by the MPA, which ensure that they know the amount of product in a particular tank across the country, they were checking that. So we got to know all of this. So when we got to the GRA, we interviewed the GRA before we interviewed SML. And SML said, sorry, the GRA officials said that, look, the question you are asking us, we have no knowledge about it. We don't think SML is doing this.
All right.
So go and ask SML. So the morning we were to do the interview with SML, GRA officials were there. They even said, look, you raised these services. Now that we are here, SML should clarify. So SML itself told us they were not doing those services, and they proceeded to delete them from their website. So these are not claims that we made. They made those claims. We confronted them with the evidence, and they said that, look, what you said or what is on our website is not true. We are not doing them, and we don't check any under reporting. And they proceeded to delete them.
All right, thank you. Manasseh, hold on. We'll return to you finally before you go about what you think about what the OSP is starting to do and what Parliament appears to also want to do.